David Morgan with you at PDAC 2018. On my right, Duran Ventures, Jeffrey Reeder. Jeff, good to see you again.
Good to see you again, David.
Yep. Just want to get started here. You know, I'm going to just start from the beginning. Jeff,
sure.
Give us some background. Tell me the people that are involved with Duran Ventures.
Okay, well, we've been in Peru since 1994. Steve Burnell, which was a gentleman that him and I and Peter Mordaunt, we decided to go to Peru in 1994. What they did basically said, you know, here's a truck, here's some cash, go drive around Peru, understand the country first, and then within a year, we'll come back down and figure what we want to do, what type of properties should we go after, what regions should we work in Peru, and that's what we did in 1996. We started acquiring properties, and we were doing quite well up to 2000 until the .com, and you know, our mining business went broke at that time, but McMillan it was McMillan Gold at that time, and then we moved into, we came back to Peru. I became a director of the company, and about 2006, when I became a director, I became the CEO of the company in 2009. What I was doing between 2002 and 2009 was I actually had my own private company, and we acquired several prospects. And an old friend of mine, who was the CEO of the company at the time, he asked me, maybe you should take over the company because you know Peru quite well. That's what we did. We focused on the Aguila copper porphyry. We raised money, we drilled it out. But in the lean times when copper was out of flavor, we sold the property, and we decided to continue in Peru, but we always claimed areas. We always staked areas. We acquired properties. So we were acquiring our own properties since 95, 96. And we sold the copper porphyry we netted about $6 million. We decided to look into the tolling business. And because I think the junior needs to get cash flow somewhere or another. Always diluting our stock. We're big shareholders of the company, so it hurts us when we have to keep on going to the market. So we decided to look at a flotation plant in northern Peru. And when we did that, we got better opportunities, but we decided to look at high grade, high margin properties, like high grade. And then we took our portfolio of properties. We had a copper porphyry called Panteria, and we had another property, a gold silver property called Minas Nyok. And we decided to look for partners for them. So in 2016, we joint ventured our Panteria to First Quantum, where they can earn up to 80% by spending up to pre-feasibility study. And it's important, a lot of people know that, you know, to drill a porphyry, you need tens of millions of dollars. Right. And so we wanted to put that into a good vehicle, and obviously First Quantum stepped up. And then we joint ventured we entered into an agreement with IM Gold this year, where they're going to earn 60% interest by spending $5 million, $500,000 in option payments to earn in a gold silver property called Minas Nyok, which gives us the ability now to focus on high grade. I'm looking for high grade polymetallics and gold silver. Meanwhile, my partners are, you know, we have a $6 million market cap and have partners of $14 billion market cap. So what I want to develop something that a company my size can do, which is a high margin, high grade deposits. And in northern Peru, so we do have the plant, so we can feed our plant, plus develop it underground, drill, and you know, we can do all that, and you know, with the same combination of exploration development. So
I said a lot,
yeah.
And so let me focus in. Sure. Basically, and I want you to characterize the company, but let me give you some feedback.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you were a prospect generator.
Yeah.
You obviously proved that.
Yeah.
You've got partners with First Quantum. Yeah. You've got IM Gold. Yeah. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. So then, now with the toll mill, you're generating cash flow. So how would you characterize the company at today's date?
Well, I want to project ourselves as more as a potential small producer. Okay. And moving up to medium size and building it one small mine at a time, and hopefully, as you know, the Peruvian were the big companies were Peruvian companies were small at one time. They see a vein, they drift along it, they take the metal to the plant, they process it, and they develop it as they go. And I want to get into that type of exploration and development because we can put in 50 to 100 ton a day operations into production nearby my plant. We can expand. We have a 100-ton-day mill. We can expand it to 500 tons a day, but we're going to expand it as our feed expands. We don't want to be considered a toll mill. I don't want to be a toll mill, because a toll mill, you process other people's metal and you make very little money. So what I want to do is starting to get into be a small producer and hopefully grow into a larger producer one day, but one step at a time.
Okay.
And meanwhile, we were always a prospect generator, and people. Groups talk about prospect generators. I've been a prospect generator ever since '94, and I guess I never thought of myself as that, but I've been doing this business since then. So and I call us, and I think we're looking at some acquisitions right now coming down the lines where we're talking to small miners. They have small production, and we have the plant. We're going to associate ourselves with them. In some cases, we're going to pay a royalty. In some cases, we're going to be doing a joint venture, basically by doing a 50-50 split on some, or even 75-25. But we're going to build our shareholder value through proving partnerships, and I think that's the brand that we're going to go.
Okay.
So,
well, let's look at it more from an investor perspective. And so let's look at shares outstanding, share price over the last year. And let's just look at those two things.
Okay, so we have about 63 million shares outstanding. Our stock is right now 10 cents a share. We had last year we had a few issues with down in Peru where there was a El Nino effect, which affected the rains. It affected all the mining companies and everybody up in northern Peru. It affected us because a lot of the small miners couldn't bring their mineral to our plant. So we got hurt last year where our stock came down about 5 cents a share. But in the last little while, with our joint venture partners, First Quantum has finished their first phase of drilling. We put out some news in January indicating that we've hit multiple porphyry systems. News is coming out with the assays. That's starting to firm up our stock price, showing that our project generator is working, having IM Gold. But what's happening is that the weather's been on our side this year. We've entered into a couple mineral assignment agreements, and that's been increasing our stock price right now. And as an investor, we think, we look at it with our market cap of only a little bit more than $6 million. We're looking at it as, we have a fully permitted plant, and the plant, with everything, is worth what I've been evaluating it down, because there's some traders and some people that are looking at setting up revolving credit lines with us to purchase mineral and to process mineral. Our plant's valued about $4 million US. And we do have a partner in that, but with our other partners up, we're starting to creep up on our share price with new acquisitions of mineral, and plus with the drilling results coming out and their 2 joint venture partners. So,
with the 2 JVs, what's your treasury look like?
Well, we have a low treasury now, a couple $100,000, but I mean, we have enough money to get the mineral into the plant. We did some exercise of warrants. The insiders right now, we control about 25 to 30% of the stock, and then adding a couple of our major shareholders, we're in the 40% range of the stock between a few phone calls. So, we're going to be generating some cash flow starting in this month a little bit, but I think in second quarter of this year, we're going to have, when the rains pass, we're going to be processing 1,500 tons a month of this high-grade copper ore, which we have a 50-50 agreement with the owners of the property, where they have a permitted mine, we have a permitted plant, and that's producing. We're going to produce 5%. We're going to process 5% copper. It produces, for every 6 tons of copper ore, we produce 1 ton of concentrate at 36%, which is very marketable. And the traders and the people in Peru want that mineral. So we think we're going to be in the cash flow, and since we own a lot of our stock ourselves, if we do have to do a little bit of finance, just the bare minimum.
Sure.
And it's paying for the proving operations, and we have a very low overhead here in Toronto. But myself, as a CEO, I'm in the field. I spend half my time down there, my time up here too. So we got a low overhead. So we want to make money, and I want to keep, I own about 11-12%. I want to keep it that way. So there you go.
Well, we've covered the people, covered the place, covered the financing. Yeah. We know the JVs, we know the exit strategy, we know looking forward. So is there anything we haven't talked about you'd like our viewers to know?
Well, it's just that I think, we can expand our plant. We're going to be looking eventually. Our goal is to be our own properties, and we own over 100 concessions inside Peru. We have a new district down in Huancavelica area that we have 82 small concessions that have very high grade. Some of the samples are running half a kilo silver and 10% lead and 4% zinc. We're going to focus on that in 2019, but we're going to focus into 18, and next year we're going to start focusing into 19, and we're going to have north and south plant. We're going to be looking at base metal operations and gold and silver as well. So we got a good business model, which is unique in this junior business, and we're going to be always building our business up through Peruvian partnerships.
Great,
and that's the way it is. So okay,
Jeff, real pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thanks, David. Thanks.